When I think about what would really turn things around in Seattle for Black community members, I really think about the importance of land and access to wealth, and how when you don't have access even just to stable, affordable housing, how hard it is to take care of yourself and to thrive. And so I think first and foremost, I want to see us get to a place where community members, all community members, but especially Black community and Native community, have access to those things that allow us to be sustainable and to think about our future. That's housing, health care, access to mental health resources, job and employment, education opportunity, the sorts of things that really allow you to think about your whole self and your thriving and your being. After the murder of George Floyd, we saw people all across the nation begin to rise up. We are really seeing the conversation about abolition, abolition of police, abolition of the criminal punishment system, abolition of jails and the Department of Chaos. Divesting from an infrastructure of quote-unquote public safety that we know is ineffective, and taking those resources and investing in the public health and public safety structures we know can and will be most effective for everyone in our communities. We know that care, compassion, public health and public safety infrastructure that is birthed out of community is a part of community that responds to mental health crises, domestic violence, housing crises in a way that actually provides community members with what they need, with healing and restoration, is actually the most effective way to stop violence and to stop crime. Holding your elected officials accountable to investing in infrastructure and strategies we know work for everyone. Get involved in local organizations, specifically Black and Native-led organizations, as Black and Native peoples have suffered some of the gravest injustices.
Africatown is an asset-based community development initiative focused on making sure that we have space for the beauty, the brilliance, and the best of the Black experience in African diaspora, regardless of time or place, to be able to grow and flourish in the Central District, where Black people have called home for almost 140 years in Seattle. The importance of Africatown within the Black community is really creating and having space for a self-determined vision for the Black community to be able to come together to create the systems, the institutions, the community infrastructure that is rooted in our unique lived experiences, our unique needs, and so that we have the ability to nurture and bring us to our full potential and be our best selves, which is for the benefit of us and is for the benefit of the world.
King County Equity Now has a list of Black-led organizations that you can donate to, that you can volunteer with, that you can support, and I really encourage you to do that.
We are big on defending our communities. We're big on teaching holistic culture in our communities. We're big on building survival programs, and we're big on cooperative economic development for African people throughout the diaspora. We have Pan-African mentalities, meaning that we are all one African people all over the world, and we must all rise up in one unison to defeat the system that's been destroying not only our continent, but African people worldwide.
In my personal life, I did not have a lot of financial education as a child, so I struggled. And living in a struggle, you realize that you have to use your resources. And one thing that I always used was my mind to, decide whether I wanted to, go out to eat or whether I was going to make an investment. What were good investments and what were bad investments? Because I did not have a financial coach, I made a lot of bad financial decisions. So I believe that every single person in America should have a financial coach, because 87% of Americans are currently in debt. It just happens by not having the right resources.
your art is needed, your voice is needed, your perspective is needed, and artistry ebbs and flows. We are going to be up, we're going to be down. I absolutely believe we are supposed to be pulling from our life, the lives of others, what we see going on, the changes needed in the world. I believe those are supposed to be our influence, our inspiration.
Nina Simone, I'm paraphrasing, but she said that it's really our job to reflect the times. Because when we look back on history, the art is what holds the true essence of what was going on in that time. And it goes beyond generations. It's timeless, it really is. And so it's not only should we reflect this time, but when you're true to yourself, then your art speaks for itself. And that's really why we need self-knowledge. We should be reflecting in our art what world we want to live in.
What does it look like to also be affirmed as to who we are culturally, to be healed? As a Black person of the African diaspora, but specifically from Black people that were stolen and exploited for our labor, we have lived in such a traumatic situation for generations, and we really need and deserve the space and opportunity to do healing work, but to really do that cultural affirming work, that grounding work, and build for ourselves in a dynamic way.